There's some things that I just want to say today. I think that I know that there's been a lot of speculation about the things that I've been going through and how I've been dealing with them and the insensitive, like talking when y'all wanted me to talk and saying certain things. And I just felt like I owed it to my fans and supporters of people who, when they look at me and they look at me as a role model, I owed it to those people as a person to just like give them some sort of transparency and some sort of accountability of certain things. I feel like, for those who don't know, for the last 3 months of my life, I've been in this place where, I've been bashed. I've been cut through, just people every single day coming at me, coming at me, coming at me. And it's crazy because the whole thing about it is like when this whole debacle or whatever you call it came about, the whole time it's like she knows what happened, I know what happened, and we know that what you're saying and what the alleged things and the alleged accusations of my name is are not true. It's falsified information, it's false information, and it's not accurate information. I don't ever want to come off like I'm here to bash this girl or I'm here to talk down about this girl or ever be at a place where like I'm disrespecting her, because to me as a person, she's
Police
still my
reported
friend. No
ahead.
matter what, even if she doesn't look at me like that, I look at her like she's still my friend. And in the times that we were together or around each other, we've had nothing but joyous moments and good moments. So I'm not gonna sit here and bash her, but at the same time, it comes to a certain standpoint of me as a person where it's like, yo, do y'all want me to just sit here and just allow my name to be assassinated, my character to be assassinated, everything that I worked for to get here to just be assassinated for something that I did not do, something that the events that are being said are not even accurate?
Hey, Maggie, why you lying on that boy? Why you lying
Is it
on
the
that
truth
boy?
or a lie?
Look good in that girl.
This is gonna be nuts.
Yo, open up, open up. Open up.
Oh, here's.
Open it up. Open up. Open up. Open up.
Welcome back, guys. I trust you've been staying safe. Now, the trial of American rapper Tory Lanez is ongoing for the alleged shooting of fellow rapper Megan Thee Stallion. And this case started way back late 2020, where Megan Thee Stallion alleged that Tory Lanez had allegedly shot her at her feet 5 times. Initially, Megan Thee Stallion would lie that she had suffered the injuries due to broken glasses being lodged in her feet, before finally coming out to say that Tory Lanez had shot her, and as such, she had then suffered that injury. But the case had been up and down. It was being built at a point. Tory Lanez was put under house arrest. Other fellow rappers leaned in. Drake leaned in. Tracks were put out, some dissing, some retaliating, a whole debacle. But finally, 2022 is here, December is here, and the trial has kick-started. Today's true crime story is going to chronicle the issue from its beginning through to the journey it has traveled to date, where the trial is currently ongoing in the People vs. Daystar. If you are ready for this ride, just buckle up and let's go. Now, don't get it twisted. There is a thin line between love and hate. I've always said this. There is a thin line between love and hatred. These guys actually used to be very good friends. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion. They used to be very good friends, to the extent that even during this trial, it has come out that they used to be in a sexual relationship at a point in time, although Megan Thee Stallion had actually denied this earlier on in an interview. And it turns out that she lied, because her team during this trial has actually confirmed that she's had sexual relations with Tory Lanez before. So these two people used to be really tight, and it goes to confirm what I was saying, that there's a thin line between love and hatred. The person who you love so much today, the person who loves you so much today, could actually end up being your biggest enemy tomorrow due to things that might either be within your control or out of your control. But either way, never take anything for granted. Don't think every day is going to be the same. Things change, people change. Now, the trial of rapper Tory Lanez over the alleged shooting of Megan Thee Stallion started in the Los Angeles courts just over a week ago, and the accusation, which has had a long-awaited hearing, have sparked a war of words and divided the hip-hop community. There are some rappers who are siding with Megan Thee Stallion, and then also there are some rappers who are siding with Tory Lanez. Now, Texas-born Megan says that she was injured when Tory Lanez shot at her feet after a Hollywood party in 2020. To the contrary, Tory Lanez has also denied multiple gun and assault charges. And as a jury hears both sides of the story, we are also following to see how we got to this point where two people who have been intimate to the point of sexual intimacy now find themselves at the opposite sides of the law, with a case that is ongoing against one of them, where the other is now set to testify, to the extent that if convicted, Tory Lanez could be imprisoned for over 22 years. This is no child's play. This is a serious issue. And now we go in to see the genesis of how all this came about. It all begins at a party hosted by Kylie Jenner in the Hollywood Hills on 12th of July 2020. So it was just a normal day, actually having fun at a party. But little did they know what was going to unfold within that day. Now Megan, whose real name is Megan Pete, and Tory Lanez, whose real name is Daystar Peterson. Yeah, Daystar Peterson. And your favorite rapper is called Daystar Peterson. That is a cool name, but it sounds more like a name of a business person, a lawyer, not a hip-hop type of name, but that's on the lighter side. Now, they are said to have got into an argument as they drove away from the event. And at a hearing last December, Los Angeles police told the judge Megan demanded to be let out of the car, and she heard Tory shouting at her to dance. According to Megan, Tory then opened fire with a handgun. That's what she told the officers. So this is also being reported by the officers based on the accounts given to them by Megan of how those events unfolded between her and Tory after they left Kylie Jenner's party. Now, Megan's own account in court tells the same story. She's now testified that the row was triggered by her belittling Tory's musical talents. So she was sort of trolling Tory that he's not talented, he's not a good rapper. And you know that in the hip-hop community, ego is one of the strong pillars that drives most of the artists. There are some who seem so cool, so down to earth, but if you step on their craft, if you try to belittle their craft or tarnish their reputation in the streets, they are going to get triggered. And in this case, Megan's account is saying that Tory got triggered because she was trying to belittle his rap talent. We are yet to know how true this is. All this is alleged and it's under trial. So we know that at the end of the trial, we are then going to ascertain what was fact and what was a lie. But this is what Megan said. Now, Megan indicated that she had initially started it like this, and then Tory got triggered, things got out of hand, he started firing the gun, and then he told her to dance whilst he was firing the gun at her feet. I'm trying to imagine this, and it seems a bit awkward and very cruel if this is true. A big emphasis on if this is true. We have seen cases where people try to play victim from the beginning, but at the end it turns out they are the aggressor or they are the culprits. I won't mention any particular one, but I think you know of one recent one actually involving a man and a woman as well. So we are still keeping our fingers crossed. Now, initially, Megan had lied and said that her injuries at her feet were due to broken glasses, but eventually she came back to retract that story and indicate that it was as a result of Tory shooting her at her feet and asking her to dance. Now, Tory also vehemently denies this completely, and he has denied charges of the assault with the firearm and carrying a loaded firearm in a vehicle. He was also being ordered to stay at least 100 yards away from Megan. So the case was unfolded. And then Megan later spoke out about her injuries, saying that she needed surgery to remove bullets from her feet, which had maced her bones and tendons. I quote, "I know my mama and my daddy and my granny had to be looking out for me with that one, because where the bullets hit at, they missed everything, but they were in there," she said. Now, both of the artists went on to reference the disputes in their body of work. So, in his song Money Over Fallout, Tory suggested the accusations against him were false, saying, I quote, "Megan people trying to frame me for a shooting." And in the same track, he cast doubt on the shooting, asking, I quote, "How you get shot in your foot, don't hit no bones or tendons?" Well, that is actually a crucial question, because someone would argue, oh yeah, but it could have been a lucky shot such that it missed any bone or tendon. That is a valid point. But to the point where it's 5 shots, how lucky can you get? But hey, I'm not a judge here. I'm just analyzing from both sides. And a few months later, of course, rappers as they are, Megan would reply. She released her own song titled Shots Fired, which accused Tory of lying just to save face, insisting that she is the one speaking facts. So now, who is actually speaking the facts? We don't know. We leave that to the courts and the police. But as the dispute escalated, people started taking sides, with Drake appearing to side with Tory. Megan spoke out after memes and abuse spread online, saying, "In some kind of way, I became the villain." She was accused of lying about being shot and had to repeatedly defend herself, suggesting misogyny against black women could be why she's being targeted. And this is where I also begin to disagree. I believe that when these things come up, we shouldn't make it a case of gender. Yes, in the larger community, there are some people who would want to take this in different ways. The rap community will have their view, the gender activists will have their view. But can we rather look at it as two human beings, irrespective of gender, two human beings who have an issue, a legal issue for that matter, and that we trust the police and the courts to be efficient and resourceful and adequate and sufficient enough to bring them the justice that they are seeking. Because once the gender card is thrown in, I believe that we begin to lose our perspective and emotions get riled up, and it doesn't do anybody any good. That is my thinking though. If we could just put the gender card aside and look at it for what it is, a case of assault allegedly being brought up by one person against another, which requires corroboration, investigation, and a possible prosecution if warranted. We should put the gender card aside. I think it divides the society and it keeps dividing the society. My view though. Now, although Megan was also being targeted by some people that she felt were unfair to her, she also received support from artists including Jojo and Kelani. And in November, a group of prominent black women, including #MeToo founder Tarana Burke, released an open letter supporting Megan. So my question is, on what basis are you supporting her? I don't mind if it's because you like her or you believe her story or you have an emotional connection, but I hope it's not just because she's a woman. Because she being a woman doesn't necessarily make her a victim. I believe she's a very powerful force, and I believe the justice system is fair to all, irrespective of gender. So at what point do these groups decide to support who? If it's an individual thing, I think it comes down to the affection, the emotion, or whatever philosophy the person is basing on to support. But when it's an institution, I think the basis would have to be clearer, because it's an institution, it's a brand deciding to lean in one direction. So what is informing it? And they go on to say, you don't deserve any of this, Megan. You deserve to be heard, to be believed, and most importantly, to be safe. But Megan says she's been characterized as aggressive and a snitch, which I also don't think is fair. This issue of somebody being classified as snitching when the person is just probably speaking her truth, I believe it's a problem, But hey, some people also would counter that argument that there's a street code and you can't go telling on people just because you are not happy with something that is going on. I respect that, but I believe that everybody needs justice, and sometimes the only way to get the justice is to speak the truth and actually mention who is culpable. I believe that we all need to respect that, in as much as we also respect that there's a sense of community and you must try to help it work together. But hey, I don't think that it is fair to tag her as aggressive and a snitch. And about a year after the shooting, the baby, another rapper who collaborated with Megan on her song Cry Baby, was criticized after bringing Tory on stage after her set at Rolling Loud Festival. Now, while Drake and Tory reportedly, haven't always seen eye to eye, the pair, who are both Canadian, are now said to be on good terms. So Megan accused Drake of using her for clout on his track Circle Loco. The collab with 21 Savage references a woman who lie about getting shots, but she's still a stallion, which many, including Megan, think it's about her. And some of these references, if it's you, you know it's you. Yeah, if it's you, you know it's you. So if Megan thinks it's her, I think that she's right. And he has not directly commented on the reaction to the track. When his new album Hellos, which includes Circle Loco, dropped, Megan reacted furiously on Twitter, writing, "Since when is it cool to joke about women getting shot?" And this is where my point was. Why should it necessarily be about women getting shot? Why can't you just make it about someone getting shot? So is she inferring that if it was about a man getting shot, it would have been cool? I think these things are divisive and they divide the community. My thoughts though. Yeah, my thoughts though. Don't come at me, please. But these are my thoughts. I think that it's one big world. We need to love each other. The feminine gender, the masculine gender, we have our differences, and I think that's what makes us all unique, and we complement each other in that way. Let us not start leaning in directions that split up the community. Life is more than gender, and we need each other, irrespective of our differences. Now, Megan goes on to say, weak conspiracy theories had been attached to her name and hit out at rappers who power on a black woman when she says one of your homeboys abused her. Now, in this context, I get where she's coming from, because she's basically thinking that, yeah, okay, so these are homies, they are friends. So if one of their guys has done her wrong and she comes out to say it, they all gather around to sort of bully her into submission, which I appreciate, because sometimes I see that happening and I don't think it's fair. That is when it's very valid to bring up the gender card, because we can't have these things happening. It should be a matter of humanity. even if you are homeboys and one of your guys has done something wrong, in the spirit of justice and being principled, call out that homeboy, because if you condone what he's doing, then it's a reflection of what all of you behind the scenes stand for. Yeah. Now, Megan accused Drake of wading in for clout, and Tory remained tight-lipped when the track dropped, only tweeting a shrugging emoji on the day it was released. So, this is how far things had gone. And then finally, the trial started after all these months of delay. So, Megan came in and she had to give her testimony. And whilst she was getting out of her vehicle, you saw the video at the intro of this footage that you are watching, where there were people gathered outside, and one of them or some of them were trying to imply that Megan is lying on Tory. I'm not taking sides here. We don't know what the actual truth is, because honestly, going into this story, it's so unclear who is actually telling the truth or not. Ballistic experts have come in, wading in, and also running DNA tests on the alleged weapon used in the shooting. And some things are inconclusive. Witnesses have come up. Megan's personal assistant, Kelsey, who was also in the vehicle and turns out to be engaged in the altercation, has asked for immunity so as not to incriminate herself in the testimony that she's going to put out. And you hear a whole lot of things coming up. So I don't think we are in a place to give judgments, especially when we are not part of the legal system. So for you to come and stand outside the courthouse and be shouting at Megan, why are you lying on the boy? How do you know she's lying in the first place? What if it turns out that she's actually been shot by Tory and she's a victim? How do you play that card? You're also playing the agenda card as a guy. And I don't think that is cool. Like I said, let us respect each other as humans. A case has come up. We are not in a position to know the facts of who is lying and who is telling the truth. Let's leave the court system to do its job. Let's be objective in our thinking and our analysis, and be at the middle and wait for what the judgment would be. So in her opening testimony, this is what Megan said. I quote, "I can't believe I had to come here and do this." The jury heard how she left a trail of blood at the scene, and minutes after the shooting, a friend messaged her security saying, "Help, Tory shot Meg." In her account, Megan told the courtroom that Tory had offered her $1 million to keep quiet about what happened. Yes. She said Tory had offered her $1 million just so she would keep quiet about what happened. She also said he had called her after to apologize and claimed he was just too drunk. Through tears, she said she had regrets about coming forward, saying speaking out had been torture and even disclosing suicidal thoughts. Now, on this, I prefer to be objective, because these could be genuine things that she's going through, or this could be a way to get the jury on her side, a damsel in distress move. I'm not saying it is, but all I'm saying is I'm staying in the middle. It could go either way. These could be facts. These could be things she's actually going through. And this is irrespective of the fact that she's a woman or she isn't a woman. She's a human being, and people get traumatized when they go through traumatic situations. So this could be her actually speaking truth on the trauma that she's going through from this incident, if it actually happened the way she said it did. But then again, she could be trying to get the jury on her side by playing the little damsel in distress. But we wait to see. Now, Tory's lawyer said the jury needed to keep an open mind and that it's a case about jealousy. So you see, I told you, once two people are in a dispute, everybody will try, or let me say, most people in most cases will try to play the victim. just so they get the law on their side. But it always ends up that one of them was lying. And in this case, it's becoming difficult to know who was lying or who is lying because the case is still ongoing. Now, outside the court, there's a divide. Obviously, there will be a divide because, like I said, they are pulling stunts, and well, I would say they are pulling stunts, but you could see they've been well advised. They have very potent and competent legal teams who are giving them what to do, advice on what to do to get people on their side, mass up numbers, and probably get a judgment in their favor. But in courts, it can't be like a football match where there could be a draw or a boxing fight where there could be a draw. Somebody is gonna get knocked out, and we are waiting to see who it would be. So, outside the court, there's a divide. Supporters of Tory heckled Meghan, asking, "Why are you lying on that boy?" when she arrived. On the other side, fans carry signs saying, "We stand with Meghan." And like I said, if found guilty, Tory could be jailed for up to 23 years. Yeah, 23 years. That's how critical it is for Tory Lanez. If he's found guilty, he could end up with a 23-year sentence. So this is no joke. And to think that these guys used to be so close that they had a sexual relationship, it sends shivers down my spine. How quickly people can just go against each other. How relationships can just turn sour. Please, protect your relationships. Yeah, protect your relationships. This is not about gender, but I believe that these things could have, I don't know, well, we are still waiting for the facts, but of the things we are hearing, alcohol came in, and somebody is talking about jealousy. I don't know about that. But funny enough, although this trial is about an alleged assault shooting, the downside of such trials is it begins to bring your life out. Things about your life you wished were private begin to come out. Like, for example, it has now been confirmed that, well, it has come out actually, that Megan Thee Stallion, contrary to what she said in an interview, has actually had sexual relations with Tory Lanez. It didn't end there. She's had some with the baby and another artist, and the baby has also referenced it in his latest album that he has released this year. And I don't think all these things are necessary, because Megan Thee Stallion is actually dating, and her boyfriend has allegedly come out to say that he's embarrassed. Megan has also come out to say that he's embarrassed by all these things coming up about her, and truly so. But hey, these are some of the downsides to pursuing a legal case. Your life would be turned upside down, and anything that can be used against you to discredit you is going to be done by the opposing team. But the trial has been ongoing for about 6 days now. And just to recap, Kelsey, that's Megan's supposed best friend, who was also her personal assistant, was also in the car. There were actually 4 people: Kelsey, Megan, Tory, and Megan's bodyguard. And Megan is saying that Tory shot her 5 times at her feet, telling her to dance. And then Tory is saying he didn't. The allegations that Kelsey is set to testify that Tory shot Megan, and before that, Kelsey has actually pleaded for immunity, such that whatever she says, because initially she had said that she doesn't know anything, but now she's saying she knows a lot and she wants to talk, but she's pleading for immunity, and with the implication that whatever she says cannot be used to prosecute her or implicate her in any crimes. So it looks like for her to come out with what she knows, she would have to say some things which might end up incriminating her herself. And from what I gather, she's been granted the immunity, so she's good to go. I'm waiting to hear what she would say. But then there was another crucial witness who indicated that the whole thing happened behind his house and that he witnessed it at the time it was happening. And according to his testimony given today, he said that it started as a heated argument in the car. Then the two men got out. He didn't mention their names. He said the two men got out. They started fighting. And then the driver came out trying to separate them, same as the shot man. And then one of the women went into the car. He didn't see a gun in itself, but he saw a nozzle flashing like gunshots being fired. Then later, he saw that the shot man, the shot man took whatever it was and fired 5 times into the air. Yeah, into the air. So it sort of does not corroborate the fact that Tory was shooting at the feet of Megan. In any case, he said shot man. He didn't actually put a name to who the shot man was. But he is still being cross-examined, and we are waiting to see how these things will play out. Now, DNA experts have also done their analysis on the gun, and per reports, they are rather saying that the DNA they saw on the gun is more looking like belonging to a woman than a man, that they are not finding Tory's DNA on the gun. So like I said, the whole thing is unsettled. It's like a pendulum. It's swinging left, swinging right. But I trust the US justice system. I know they are going to get to the bottom of this. Same as their investigators. These guys, they are unrelenting. So we are following the case closely, and we'll bring you updates as soon as they are available. Before I sign off, I want to thank you. You've taken us from 200 subscribers to 300 subscribers. Help us hit 1,000 subscribers before the end of December. Let that be our Christmas gift. And please, protect your relationships. Things shouldn't always have to go south. You can keep them at the center and let them be great. And as always, keep an eye out and stay safe.